My name is Isabella Rotman. I'm a Chicago cartoonist. I'm from Maine. I'm from York, Maine, a very small beach town where there was like one art association and everyone did watercolors of lighthouses. And I hated that. And my mom did art that was wonderful. I didn't draw comics till I got to college. I went to SAIC. I read Black Hole in high school and decided I wanted to make comics. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Well, I always liked writing, which is funny because I hate writing now. And I always liked drawing, and I was kind of good at drawing. And I didn't really think that I could merge those things. Because most of the comics I'd read, I mean, no offense to superhero comics, but it was kind of lacking in the story department. Like, I didn't want to write about superheroes. And I read Black Hole, and that was the first time I actually realized that there were other options. So it's not like there's any one cartoonist where I'm like, I want to be just like that person. But obviously Charles Burns. When I first started drawing comics, they looked like Charles Burns drawings. And I'm glad I stopped, because it shouldn't look like anyone's drawings but mine.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know, it just sort of happened. Like, I had all these different styles, and eventually they all just kind of became one, and I felt comfortable with the fact that I had a style now. And I change it slightly for every comic that I do, because I feel like
Change, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the method that you make something should reflect the story and not the other way around. I really like Anders Nilsson. Which anyone looking at my forest can probably tell that I really like Anders Nilsson. Craig Thompson, obviously. I have a phobia of blood. For most of my life, I would pass out at the sight of blood, or if anyone described blood too graphically, I would pass out. It's not like fear, like I don't feel any fear, I just like, and then I wake up, and I'm like, how did I get in the floor? Anyway, so I had an amazing opportunity to volunteer at the Field Museum in their ornithology department and skin birds for their collection. And I was like, well, and I'd tried a few things, like exposure therapy type things. I'd given blood and like not looked at it. I was like, well, what's a better way to get over your fear of blood than to skin some animals that died of natural causes? So that's what I did, and actually I'm at a point now where I only pass out at the sight of my own blood, and only sometimes. So it worked. So usually I'll come up with like something I want to talk about. Like, okay, I want to talk about obsessive relationships. And sometimes I start from that point. Or sometimes I'll start from a different point, like, oh, I want to do something about a program that gives you dreams. It's going to be kind of Matrix-y, but not the Matrix. And then I'll do sketches and try to figure out my characters, and I'll write a script, and then I'll hate it, and I'll trash it, and then I'll write another script, and I'll go through like 4 scripts. And then the script that I like, I'll usually like write it halfway through and not be able to figure out the ending, and then just start drawing, because I'm really excited about that. And then once I'm drawing, I'll thumbnail on, just fold paper in half, and thumbnail on there so that I can look how the page spreads are together. And since I have everything written down as a script on my computer, I usually don't write out all the text. I'll like start writing the text so I know what line it is, and then just draw this squiggly line to tell myself that more text is going to exist in that space. And I'll thumbnail out as far as I have scripted, or until I get frustrated, and then I'll start drawing, and there'll be pencils. And I don't use blue pencil, I just use graphite, and then I'll go in and ink. And often I draw out of order. This time I'm trying to draw in order. And then, I hit that wall where I stopped writing and I have to go back and figure out my ending. It's not the most functional process. I always wanted to make comics. I wanted to tell stories, and I wanted to do that through images. And comics is just the most amazing medium for that.